Emirates Stadium tonight exhibiting that special mix of outward buoyant enthusiasm, but which I suspect camouflages an undercurrent of anxiety for management and supporters alike, given that in recent times Rangers have far too often raised the curtain on a European campaign dramatically, only to leave the stage with no calls for an encore. Not for 5 years have they looked apart in the European setting, and now new faces take on the old familiar challenge. Well, as you can see from that list, there is an enormous renovation taking place at Ibrox, and Dutchman Arthur Newman typifies the expensively acquired freshman brought from PSV. He's a Dutch international, and the last time Trevor Steven and I saw him, we were watching him being sent off against Argentina at Marseille. Apart from that, he had a marvellous World Cup tournament. Opponents tonight, Pirate, no slouches of course, having beaten Arsenal in the last competition last season. And the star of all stars, the leading light, is Kostas Franceskos, number 8. This is the man they call the Greek Platini. Rangers will be hoping that's a misnomer, but on the other hand, in a couple of seasons with the club, he scored over 70 goals. Mark him down well, as Celtic have. All the officials tonight are from Denmark, and that's a wheel-cut face, especially for commentators from the World Cup. From Denmark, Kim Milton Nilsson, the referee. Well, at the press conference yesterday, Dick Advocaat had the solemn expression of a Moses handing down the commandments, the first of which is, thou shalt not lose a goal at home. Well, that basic fact haunts coaches throughout Europe, many of whom would settle for a no-scoring draw as a decent night's work, although I think Advocaat wants more than that. However unpalatable that might be to a crowd wanting goals, that's seen as not a bad result in Europe nowadays. Well, yesterday he was trying desperately to put on a realistic face, coming so soon in the season, this game, and emphasizing the need for patience. Well, there's a mistake early on, they can't afford that. Looking very cumbersome on the edge of the penalty area. And the first shot at goal, Nagbe coming forward from midfield. That's the man I'm going to watch, a man I used to watch playing in French football. Took it well, kept it low, but just off target. Nagbe came from Lugano in Switzerland, but he spent some years with French teams. Plays with George Weah and the Liberian side. Amoroso, Ferguson, who I thought had one of his better games for Rangers in the second half against Hearts in the recent league game. Murr. Poriní. Now there's great talent out there, new talent has come to Ibrox, but I would imagine there's pressure on them as well. They have a reputation, that each one is an individual reputation to live up to. A little bit loose there by the Greeks. And the Rangers supporters like that, evidence of just a lack of composure in the latter third of the field there by the Greeks. There's Jury. Burt was up high, accidentally though, free kick. Although Thomas Naxaridis is making it appear as if he's an infirmary case. Well, if you can lip read, I think he understands some English curses. There he goes. Tall goalkeeper, 6'2". Off the head of Amoroso there. Newman. Free kick again. I did say he'd been sent off in the World Cup, but he was playing against one of the most cynical players in world football, Diego Simeone. who deserves everything he gets, actually. Here's Newman going down. Rangers just looking a little bit cumbersome at the moment. Picked up by Wallace. Arthur Newman. Ferguson. Murr will come forward for this. Porίνι. Just touched the way inside to Francescos. Rangers, no doubt, will be trying to cut off the oxygen supply to that man. Arthur Newman. Well, they're going in pretty hard, and that's the man who was suffering early on. That was a violent and quite unnecessary foul. I don't think the coach, Oleg Bloka, would like that. Quite unnecessary. No real danger in Jury going for that ball. How stupid, even at this level, how stupid players can be at times. Jury looks to be in some discomfort here. They've decided to take him off. Well, when I say take him off, they've just shunted him over the line there to have a better look at him. The substitute, Amato, Johansson. Now, Van Bronckhorst. Well, that's a very enticing ball, but I do imagine the goalkeeper with that height and his experience will simply lap that up. Van Bronckhorst. Captain of the side is against him, Georgios Torsonidis. Amoroso, nice touch. Trying to get it in there towards Andrei Kantsέλskis. One of the fastest players I've ever seen in a football pitch. There he is. He'll be an asset. Likened to Laudrup, but he's an entirely different kind of player. Wide player, but fast and more direct, I think. Whipped away. His countryman, Oleg Blokin, of course, is the coach of the opponents. His second spell with PAOK. Now, it looks to me as if Jury's out. They're looking, the Rangers bench are looking up just behind me to the director's box where the manager is, Dick Advocat. And there's a little minor panic going on as the play goes on here, as they wonder what to do about this. Now, here's a break. Kantsέλskis. That's cynical again, and this time, Dimitri Kapatonopoulos does it. Quite cynical, that. But this is a very experienced World Cup referee, and I don't think he's going to let them away with that. I very much admire this man in the past, Nilsson. He's a protector of skill. And it looks like Amato is on. Now that's a blow to Rangers that their original selection cannot be seen out to a natural substitution has been forced in Rangers, and away he comes. On comes Amato. Welcomed, I may say, warmly by the Rangers support. Really, Rangers have a problem here in the sense that I doubt very much if Amato is absolutely fully fit. Wallace going away again. That's a better tackle by Nagbe. Furious little player he is, involved in virtually everything they do in midfield. Away goes Van Bronckhorst. We'll get the free kick this time. And the way things are going, and I think it's to do with the time of the season it is, and there's a red card. I did say that this referee stands no nonsense, and there obviously was something shouted at the referee. Now, the Greeks are incensed about this. Watch the move here, and I think he went in very late as well. In any case, the referee was right up with the play, and PAOK stupidly are down now to 10 men. Well, he's very reluctant to get over the touchline, really asking for trouble, and that's well over by Amoroso. Well, he's claiming he did nothing, and Oleg Blokin is out there complaining like fury. He's coming towards the... There's Blokin. By the way, Rangers have brought the pitch in 3 yards altogether, which must remind that man of the night when he came here to play for Dynamo Kiev and discovered the Rangers pitch had gone anorexic. Graham Souness had changed it, narrowed it. Newman. Just a little bit unsettled in midfield. And I think that's got to be a free kick. Yes, Ferguson concedes that. There's Nagbe again. Amoroso going in from the rear. Now, in a situation like this, I think the Rangers players really ought to just calm down and not go in too fiercely at the moment. Because quite apart from them acting fiercely when they're going into the tackle, I think they're overreacting when they are tackled. Poriini. Well, I think their strategy would always have been to play behind the ball and beat Rangers on a counter-attack. I think that's simply enhanced now. Amato wants to go on his own. Picked up by Wallace. Ferguson. Slight hesitation. There's Barry Ferguson. Ian Ferguson. Poriini. Going to be another free kick and another yellow card. Well, they say the Greeks have a word for it. And I would say the word appropriate at the moment is shambles. Going right across the man and almost inevitably gets a free kick in that situation. Well, there's sunny-looking Poriini, and I think he might look for revenge. And the only way you get revenge in this situation is to hit the back of the net. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. Watched him playing for PSV last season. Very much an involved player with a great left foot. Here's Barry Ferguson. Everybody will behind the ball for this team now, and I don't think at that it's all that easy for Rangers, even though they're playing against the 10 men. Niyemi. You really will have competition now from Lionel Charbonnier from Auxerre. Good, just getting in, Ferguson. Here's Poriini. Not quite sure, not the best ball to give Amato down there. Lovely play though. Kantsέλskis gave it away too quickly. Nagbe coming out. Good tackle by Van Bronckhorst. Like to see this young man playing, Barry Ferguson. Watched him playing 18 months ago in the Toulon tournament. And at the tail end of the season, he told me he was getting a little bit tired. There's Arthur Newman. Well, Arthur Newman's one of the most flamboyant left backs in the business, but I'm sure his coach has told him, don't be too prodigal in your efforts going forward tonight, given how well they can counter-attack. Away with the outside of the foot here. Poriini should get that. Well, I think the whole tactical switch now for the Greeks has meant that number 8, Francesco's a great danger man, is going to be more and more in defence. Wallace. Amato, an entirely different kind of player from Jury. I think Rangers will miss Jury's pace. Ferguson, not sharp enough in midfield. It has to be more incisive than that. Taken away here. Niso no fouls. Now Bantovic, the Serbian. And offside. I don't think the players could hear the whistle there. First time we've seen Bozidar Bantovic coming into the Rangers half for obvious reasons. Kančelskis, Amato going to the outside. Big, tall, heavy-looking man, but as we saw in the later stages of that European game they played against Shelbourne, very nippy on his feet. Kančelskis, well, that was more speculative than anything else. And that came off a Rangers player there. You can hardly believe that. Well, there's a man who is a study in deep concentration whenever you see him watching a football match. Hardly ever gets animated, but when he does, it's something of an eruption. Kančelskis, Poriini, well, for all that Rangers have had so much possession, at times they're looking just a little bit laboured, especially in midfield. Nicely curved round there to Kančelskis by Ferguson. There's Wallace with a header and just passed. Oh, did he creep in there? One of the smaller men up front, and I think the sheer impudence of the run getting a little bit of space, and it was so near. A very negligent Greek defence that time to allow a relatively smaller man there to get in. Well, you know, I think teams can prove to be their own worst enemies. We've seen a classic case of that tonight from the Greeks. Still nothing each, but Amato, there's Kančelskis. You won't get that one. Kančelskis very much more effective, of course, and I think the Rangers players realise that when the ball is just played in behind the fullback to exploit that blistering pace. Hooked in by Francescos, like there by no fouls. Wallace chasing after this. Brought down by the captain, Tosanidis. Well, the referee this time telling Wallace to get up off his feet. A man who admits he was stunned the last time he was at Ibrox when he played in that famous Battle of Britain with Leeds. Said the atmosphere did get to him. Kančelskis having to track back. And Bronckhorst a little bit slow. Too many times that Bronckhorst and Barry Ferguson have been caught in possession. Ian Ferguson taking plenty of time. Barry Ferguson looking for the opening. They've got everybody back. Poriini. Trifle unlucky there. Almost looked as if he would take the fullback, Olivares, on his left-hand side. Mur. Newman trying to get it to that left foot of his, and again that period of indecision on Newman has got plenty pace and recovery. Very intelligently leaving that to go over the line and get the throw. Well, the crowd are wanting the ball pushed on, but as I said, with a Dutchman in charge, they'll be playing for possession all the time, and Amato losing it clearly there. Ferguson again. Kancelskis, beautiful ball inside. And there's nobody in there as a goalkeeper, despite his height. Looked a little bit flustered. Played by Van Bronckhorst. Besetny getting down on top of Francesco's very quickly. Amato. Throw to Rangers. Well, Amato there coming across. First time I saw him playing for Real Mallorca about a couple of years ago. He had a kind of wayward season, didn't settle in. The second season he was quite outstanding. 14 goals in all. Novals, beautifully judged ball on the left-hand side. Porίνι is skinned there. Now that looked to me slightly over the ball again, that challenge. Referee has made up his mind, he wants the stretchers out here quickly. It was a very awkward one. Here we go. That's Porínι, as I said, being skinned there by Machαιριδη. Yeah, it brings tears to the eyes when you watch it that way. And of course, at this time of the season, so early in the season, injuries so easily to come by. We got it right in the chest, and I think, as far as Mur was concerned, right in the top of the knee. Craig Mur, Australian international. Trevor Stephen and I did commentary on their famous game against Iran, in which he was part of a defense that conceded 2 goals in the last 20 minutes of the game to blow their chances of the World Cup. And he looks as if he's going off as well. It all came from this challenge here. Now you can see Mur going right into the ball there. A collision with, I think, the left foot of Konstantinidis. Right into the top of the thigh, I think. And it may well be that Rangers are forced to change again. Well, if nothing else, this game will be remembered by the fragmented shape of both sides and the improvisation that really this inspires. Well, he's off to start for examination. That's a very good tackle indeed. Ian Ferguson getting in there. Mato can't get hold of it. Out to Konstantinidis. Wallace might be hard put to get this. Touched in there to Tusanidis. He's trying to instill some concentration in his side. I know they'll try their best to get Mur back in his feet again, but I see Petric is warming up as well. Newman. Just touched away, the two Dutchmen together there, Van Bronckhorst. Here's Ferguson. Might want to go himself. Kantsέλskis cutting inside to that left foot of his. He can rattle him in. And perhaps the most direct and most clinical shot we've so far had. Quite apart from that header by Gουαλας. So 23 minutes gone, halfway through this first half, which has been eventful, perhaps for the wrong reasons. Now Mur is walking round behind the goal now, there he is. But does he look like the fit man to you? Certainly clenching his teeth, and I think Dick Advocaat is screaming at him. He has to get on the park. He's shown he's fit enough, he's back on. Amorúzo just got hold of that, no more. Amato. Almost got it round to Kantsέλskis. You could see him making the overlap. Broncos. This is where they seem to be running out of ideas, but Gουαλας gets up through well, and Van Bronckhorst, you can see, wanted to angle that in front of either Gουαλας or Ferguson who'd come up. There's Kantsέλskis. It's a pretty hard ball, but he'll get to it. Finding it difficult to elude the full-back there, Olivares. Yes, Gουαλας sneaking in, but he was offside. And I think he must have realized that as well. He slipped into that position, but he's warned them how well he can get into the box. Powerful header there, but swept forward by Olivares. Difficult ball for Mur to take, having just come back on after that injury, but he seemed confident enough about it. Amorúzo, Gουαλας being beaten for the tackle in midfield just a little bit too often. Well, apart from anything else, you can see how often Amorúzo is determined to come forward in this game and just squeeze some activity out of midfield. Playing safe that time, Amorúzo. Nιέμι tried to edge aside to get forward. There's a 1-on-1 there, neat little touch to the side, and Barry Ferguson would have been up in that. Van Bronckhorst, beautiful run, and too near the goalkeeper that time. It wasn't a Rangers player within about 6 or 7 yards of him. Well, certainly be interesting to hear what Trevor says about this game, but I quite surely agree with one thing. Both teams in many regards are a little bit sluggish. This game has come so very early on in the season. Kantsέλskis. Nice little chip forward, and Ferguson tried to go in. And from my point of view, that was a very cunning defensive block. He got away with it. Watch it again. He comes in there, and he knew what he was doing with Ferguson. They get the corner. It could have been more. Van Bronckhorst deciding to take this. Amorúzo's come up. Mur is in there as well. Easy one that time. It's back to Van Bronckhorst though. And A little bit of a push in the box. Just about 17 minutes remaining in this first half. Blocking out. Marvellous left-sided player. He only had the 1 foot, but what a foot. I've never seen him smile, actually. I think a local anaesthetic's required at times. Newman. Should be to Poriini. Well, Kantsélskis seemed to run away from that, and it may well have been that he imagined that Wallace would take up that gauntlet on the right-hand side. A little bit of confusion. I think that's a perfect illustration of players who haven't played together all that often. A little bit of pushing by Mur. I think he got away with that. That's a free kick, though. Won't get away with that one. Nice little run on the outside there by Konstantinidis. And because he has the longest name in the Greek team, I'm glad he's had a very quiet game so far, been rather on the fringes of things. Nicely dodged, D'Amato. What to whip it over if he can, and he gets a corner kick out of it. And you know, every set position is so vital for Rangers tonight because of the intense defensive covering up of this side. Advocat out again. He's more animated than I've seen him for a while. Poriini coming up. The big men are there. Van Bronckhorst. Too near the near post. Ferguson. Kantsélskis. Got that done neatly. Amoroso delighted to see him, of course. A mate of his at Fiorentina in the past. Ian Ferguson, it's slow, but there was almost a picket fence in front of him with players. Very difficult to pick his spot there, in all honesty. Well, Dick Advocat, I remember taking the Dutch side, if you recall the World Cup, up against the Brazilians and almost outthought them when he was Dutch national coach. Only a great free kick from Branco did him in. Now Ferguson got to show a little pace here, and I think that was offside again. No, it just touched away as Wallace came in. I think some of the players imagined there was offside on the far side. Lovely little ball there by Ferguson. Perfectly good position by Wallace and a fine save. Very acute angle. It needed just a little bit of elevation. That's a bit of corner kick this time. Kantsélskis! And down they fell again, and that whipped the feet away from Percy Olivares, the Peruvian international. Rangers now trying to keep the momentum up. It's in again, and that had to be taken first time by Nikos Mixopoulos. Really tremendous shot here. Now watch the Peruvian getting right in the way of that. Almost took the leg off him. Amato. Van Bronckhorst does well with it again, and that almost comes to Ferguson. Taken away there by Katanopoulos. Now can they keep it going, Rangers? The Greek defense reeling at the moment. And there the shot, and it came to the wrong foot of Arthur Newman. How much more lethal his left side is. He's no slouch with his right foot either, but I think he prefers to take it with the left. And that lasts 3 minutes or so. So the most concerted pressure on his Greek side. And much better football by Rangers. Oliveras has recovered. He really had to take treatment for that. Now this they've got towards the free kick expert, Francescos. That was no Pratini free kick, that's for sure. Picked up here by Kapanopoulos. Nagbe. Here's Francescos again, and he kills it. To no great effect. He's been quiet, but I think the circumstances of the game have not lent themselves to him pushing forward all that much. Ferguson just delaying it very slightly. Arthur Newman was screaming for the ball on the left-hand side. That's a free kick, yes. Saw Joe Nagbe playing in the African Nations Cup along with George Weah, and it was his job to float the ball in front of Weah, which he did very effectively. It was a kind of two-man team, to be absolutely honest. But two excellent players. Porίνι. He'll find Newman. Wants a little return, Amato almost got away with it. Well, as I said, he's a very tricky player. The big tall player, 6 feet, broad pair of shoulders, more, you would imagine, the kind of strike man up front, the hit man, the target man. But he can take on players very delightfully. Another Dutch corner kick. Ferguson, awkward bounce for him there. Kantsέλskis. Here he goes, and that's just a little bit too much that time. He had played himself, in fact, very wide to the right, making that very difficult. Well, he's had a turbulent career, that man, of course. Going out of favour at Old Trafford. Now picked up by Wallace, and I think good refereeing that, yes. By Bronkhorst. Just a little bit too reckless that time. Newman. Ferguson. Nobody in midfield for Rangers that time. Picked up by Kananopoulos. Nagbe. Tosanidis. Ferguson. I mean, just a little bit slow there, to be fair to Amoroso. Well, just as well, I think that player on the far side hasn't been taking on Porίνι all that much. A little bit unsure against them. And I think the Greeks, coming up to half-time, 8 minutes in fact, must be reasonably satisfied. Wow, that's the first time that Francescos has worked his way into the box or near it. Oh, Zamato almost getting away, and he tried to take the goalkeeper on. Quick thinking, but the execution not quite right. You could see it made up his mind very quickly there. That's not a bad ball, Wallace. Just outpacing him. I don't think Wallace is fully match sharp yet. Well, Blockin is constantly coming out, having a shout at his players. Amato. There's a run by Van Bronckhorst. Normally he sends over a very quick left-footed ball. Kantsélskis is up there. Oh! Amato taken right on by that. Greeks getting just a little bit more space in midfield. Well, once again, gesticulation from the Ibrox manager to tell Ian Ferguson to push forward a little bit more, I think. He's pushed out by the captain there. Georgios Toussainidis was the only man in the club who was brought up and reared with PAOK. And it'll be another corner kick. And it looks to me as if the man went right across towards him there. To pull the muscle. Let's see now. He's getting up again. This is Olivares, the Peruvian. 45 caps, he said, for his country. Well, appeals. It was a hand used there by Bantovic. Ferguson. Now Kantsélskis. Cross not good enough, and look at the uncertainty there. That's whipped away by Anastasios Katsiabis. Newman. Van Bronckhorst. Better ball there by Ferguson now. This is the man who could cause the damage. Kantsélskis. Just a little bit too obvious with his finish that time. And again, another corner kick though. And up will come the central defenders again. Might be feeling it just a little bit wearing. Remember, he came to Rangers, Kantsélskis, late on in the close season. Just on vital training. Van Bronckhorst again, it's a far post one. Not a Rangers player near the penalty spot though. Too many clustering at the far post. Newman, beautiful play. Now Amato wants to cut it himself. Cut off there by Novals, coming in very quickly. And yet Rangers beginning to spread it about a bit. And this man Amato certainly leading the line well. And as much as you're finding him both on the left and the right-hand side. Nobody but Wallace in there for Rangers. Here's Ferguson. Newman. Picked up by Mur. Rangers football needed up in midfield like that. But this is the area here where it matters. Amato is up. And several times the ball's been knocked across the goal mouth like that to no effect. And the last shot there by Van Bronckhorst. You can tell he was slightly off balance going for that. Nevertheless, you feel that Rangers, in a combination of patience and gently eroding this defence, might just get there even before half-time, which is only 3 minutes away. Mur. Out to Konstantinidis. Bagby. And a little bit obvious there by Francescos. Oh, but this is a man interesting. Celtic at the moment, and that will be a corner kick. So 3 minutes to half-time. And a rare occurrence down at the Rangers end, the corner kick. One of these testing times for a goalkeeper who's had nothing to do in the game. He'll send it in hard. Beautifully fired in there by Francescos. Well, I think he enjoyed it. Look at this curl in the ball, and Nιέμι, I think, may have had it covered. Now Newman. There's a run by Wallace. Missing out in too many tackles. Newman does go in here, and Amato about half a yard too late. Well, so much has been gathered by Rangers in that area, but it's just been becoming a little too predictable. Newman again. Amato, Newman coming for it. Well, Newman did get contact there, well covered by the Serbian, Pantovic. Very much the cosmopolitan setup, perhaps not just as much as Rangers. PAOK, but here's a break, 2 against 2 this time, taken away by Rissano-Valls, and Mur does very well. The essential thing there was to keep his eye on the ball, and he did that. Now, Amato. Still going forward, and he gets the free kick. Well, there are no sissies, this defence, as they proved earlier on. And they don't mind taking on the Rangers defenders. Rangers attackers that way, sharply. Van Bronckhorst in a good position for Rangers, this. Amoroso has crept into the box again. Amato there on the far side, Poriini. And there it is! Oh, one of the best chances of the game so far. How did he miss it? Beautifully floated in there. Well, Amato has certainly given himself plenty of room in the box. Worked very hard. We have 3 minutes extra to play. Not surprisingly, Poriini taken out of it again. I doubt very much if Poriini will be doing any more night clubbing for a long while anyway. Early bed and a hot milk. Here's Cancelskis. Oh, he couldn't get the control though. Nagbe neatly played off. Well, of course, this will add to the frustration of the Rangers players that they've had at least 3 clear-cut chances in the game. Still nothing each. And if they just linger on the ball, so the frustration will increase. Real test for Rangers now just before half-time. Ferguson. This Cancelskis. Having to push that back almost to the halfway line now. And offside against Amato. As I said, he does take up very good position for the ball played forward to him. But he's been very closely marked by the Peruvian. Newman. Led by Pορίνι. Καντσέλσκις, again, I think a little bit obvious at the back here. Gουαλας, though. And the goalkeeper, one-handed to start off with. And they'll certainly have to come up with more alternatives than that to beat this defence. There goes the half-time whistle. I think it will be remembered for all the wrong reasons, the stupidity of the Greeks being reduced to 10 men. Machαιριδη sent off, got involved the first time for his first yellow card, and then the second time I think it was a bit of leg and tongue action involved in that. Rangers goal accentuated frustration by the chances they've had. Gwalas with a very good run, neat little header just away, and of course Amato coming up as well, and a tremendous shot by Kantsέλskis with the Peruvian blocking the way. And so at half-time, after all that blowing hot against this defence, the Greeks have survived. Rangers 0, PAOK 0. Rangers about to start the second half, the crowd rousing themselves as they came out, disappointed though they have been at no scoring in that first 45 minutes. Now, I've seen plenty, 10 men against 11 matches in the past, to realise it's never as logical or as obvious as it should be as an outcome. The most famous one recently was England against Argentina, of course, but if the Greeks were to survive this, it simply wouldn't look good for Rangers. They just lack vital touches of creativity up front for all the possession and superiority they've had in at least two-thirds of the field. They brought on a substitute, by the way, the Greeks. It's Tsunidis has gone on, and number 6, Achilles Zafaru, who's a defender's gone on, and that is a free kick. No. Well, the referee, after a torrid start, really, I think he was like the headmaster bringing out the cane, has suddenly decided to become charitable. Let's see this. Award, just a little touch, I thought. And out comes Nιέμι. And if you're pressing forward all the time, there's just the possibility of a lapse in defence, and a crucial lapse in defence at that. Swept away there by Amoroso. Tried to touch it through there. Still has it though. And that final pass has always been eluding the forward-running player for Rangers. By Nagby. Here's Pορίνι. Ferguson opening it up to Pορίνι. Bad ball by Pορίνι though. He hasn't been sharp enough tonight. That's a free kick, and Amorúzo, you can see about 2 yards off the contact. He was going to be taken on there. George Albert's doing a little bit of limbering up. Dropped from the side tonight. Coach thinking he wasn't sharp enough against Hearts in the last game. Now Ferguson hesitated on that one. Gwalas. Barry Ferguson, Kantsέλskis, and the goalkeeper read that very well. He does get off his line very quickly. Internationalist, played over 150 games for his club. There's free kick to Rangers that time. Well, I remember being here the night that AEK took Rangers apart. Maybe not in terms of the goal superiority, but the way they played the game. And you can see tonight that the Rangers side are taking no chances whatsoever. At least that's the psychology in terms of defence. Here's Gwalas, Ferguson. 2 Fergusons together that time. Just kept in by Van Bronckhorst. Newman wanted a ball there. There's Ferguson. Just looked again, lacking in sharpness. Here's the breakaway. This could be dangerous. It's 1 against 2. Arthur Newman's got the pace. Moves with them as well, and that is a very poor finish. A great chance for the Greeks there. Rissonavals on his own. Rangers defence was floundering, and I think the natives are now distinctly restless about this Rangers performance. Beautifully touched inside Newman there. There's Novals again. Porίνι with him. Porínι being lent upon, it seemed to me. Amoroso. And once again, distinct signs of a cumbersome defence. Giving the ball away far too easily. Greeks seeing much more of the ball in midfield now. Wallace. Kantsέλskis. Nice ball inside to Wallace. Away goes. There's Amato. Turned the wrong way, I think. Wallace with him. And I must say they're defending very well centrally. Olivares and Pantovic quite outstanding. Good, hard, crisp, timeless tackling. Newman. Surely they've encouraged him to get forward a bit more. There he is, and there's Amato with it. Mehopoulos coming out very quickly again. Certainly not a line goalkeeper, but he does get out very quickly. Porínι. Shelker's flying very deep. Not letting Rangers settle at all. The man going in for the tackle there was a very impressive Filippo Konstantinidis. Here's Kantsέλskis. Ferguson is square. Barry Ferguson. Zamato. Totally missing that. That sharpness certainly not there. Well, there was no support there for Amorúzo as he went in. That's the referee waving play on and a warning there to Olivares not to act as Wallace. Poor ball by Ferguson though. That should be got by Porínι. Very poor ball by Francescos there. Francescos has scored a winning goal, of course, against Arsenal when they played in the UEFA Cup last season. That goal scored at home. After that draw, now here's Newman. That's more like Newman. Tried to touch it into Wallace. Much more aggression down the left-hand side. Well, there's certainly pressure on the front midfield of the Greeks, but Rangers struggling to get that final penetration. Kantsέλskis moving in. Ferguson. Van Bronckhorst. Newman goes away again. Good run by Newman. Got away round the back there. Papadopoulos. Well, there's nothing really outstanding about this Greek side except they're stubborn and dour in defence. And really that's all they're required to be at the moment. Amato has fought very hard for his side, no doubt about that. We're just getting there. Newman. There's Amato. Good play by Van Bronckhorst. Amato again. Likes to take players on. Just touched away. And what they really have to do is to exploit this now. Van Bronckhorst, and there's the header, just touched away now. Well, they seem confident enough. They got over that early jitter at the start of this half. But they have defended well this side. Now Mur. Porίνι. Waiting for a run by Amato. There's Ferguson. Newman pushing forward more, as you can see now. Van Bronckhorst. Wallace a little bit slow, he turns well in that. Where's the chip, the ball across goal, it must be. Great goal by Kantsέλskis. The deadlock is broken by the Russian after glorious play by Wallace. And the pressure at last has paid off. The danger was always coming round the left-hand side. Look at Wallace. I thought at first he might have lost possession, but look how creative he was, and Kantsέλskis scores his first goal for his new club. No hesitation there, never a noted header of the ball, but so timelessly that time. And now this could be an entirely different game. No, I don't imagine for 1 minute the Greeks are going to now turn into cavalry charges against this Rangers defence. But there might be a little more risk going forward in the play, and that won't do Rangers any harm at all. And remember what I said right at the start of the evening. Coaches basically don't want to lose a goal away from home. So even 1-0 would be a reasonable result for Rangers, although every qualification was made about the fact that they were playing against 10 men. Long way to go yet, though. Now Van Bronckhorst. Here's Amato. Oliveira's going with him. Well, Wallace has scored one for Rangers in the league against Hearts, and effectively making that, although I really do credit Arthur Newman for much more adventurous play in the second half. There is Kantsέλskis. Picked up now by Francescos. And as ever, I think when you're pressing so much in a game, a defence can become so congested, so it's not a bad idea that they had the ball occasionally. That was late. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. And one imagines that there could possibly be a Rangers substitution later on in the game. A bit all surprised that George Alberts came on with his ability from the set position. And talking about that, here is Kostas Francescos. As I said, with a great reputation for free kicks. Tries to get that in and straight. Nιέμι not at all bothered by that. There he is, he tries to curve it in. Just a little bit too near the near post. Ferguson, now Newman. Van Bronckhorst on the left touchline, very distinctly. Van Bronckhorst has certainly not wandered into midfield as much as he was in the first half. Now Porίνι. What a boost it must be for Andriy Kantsέλskis. Goal like that. Looking for a run. Here's Wallace again. Just content to keep possession, Rangers. That's a good position though for Barry Ferguson, and he takes it a little bit too much to his left-hand side. And I think the Rangers bench was getting decidedly agitated. It's just a little bit calmer now. Amorúzo well beaten in the air there. Murr just gets that back, I think rather accidentally. Stuck his head in the way. Porínι, far too many passes from his foot have got astray tonight, and offside. And if anything is important in the modern game now, if you want to keep possession, it's got to be built up from the back accurately. Wallace has come back just that little bit deeper. There's the run. Amato. Normally his first touch is very good. Magby puts it away. Kantsέλskis coming back here. And out it goes. Must say I was very impressed by this little player on the left-hand side. Constantinides. Very wiry little player, good control. He was giving Porínι a great deal of trouble in that first half. There's a very good ball, Wallace. Olivares has gone with him again, and Photo Rangers. I think Wallace is going to be an asset when he gets much fitter than he is at the moment. There's Newman, nice little touch there. Ferguson, to his namesake. Kantsέλskis. Great thing about Barry Ferguson is his patience. Never seems flurried in any way. Youngster, of course, being given his big chance now by the Dutchman. He did tell me, Barry Ferguson, towards the tail end of last season, he had played far too much football. He had 18 months of constant football, both at international level and at club, and he really was getting stale. That, I'm afraid, is a curse of the modern game for young players. Amorúzo, not the best of headers out there. And I think offside again, as that was put back by Constantinides. 62 minutes gone. Rangers have very significantly broken the deadlock. Doesn't matter, would settle for that at the end of the day. The supporters would like infinitely more. But highly knowledgeable as he is, he'll take something like that. Kantsέλskis peels for a hand, and the referee says that was accidental, and Advocat is right out to the very edge of the perimeter, screaming at the referee. Really was annoyed about this. It played inside, and as you watch, there's a beautiful little flick by Kantsέλskis. Well, he tried to drag his arm away. Cluster of Rangers defenders getting in, and Ferguson, as you may well imagine, isn't going to stand aside for that. Now Kantsέλskis. Van Bronckhorst with a shot at goal, and it's almost there. Beautifully controlled shot there. One of the most difficult balls to take in football, going right across his body. But look at the way he concentrated on that. Just time for a little repose by this side. They just seem to have taken the foot off the accelerator just for a minute or two. Maybe not too surprising. Got to remember that they have two central defenders, Mirko Tokola from Perugia and Triantafilos from Machαιριδη from AEK, who are ineligible for this game, and have already lost another central defender who won't be able to play in the second leg. That's the man sent off, Machαιριδη. So that doesn't all go well for the return defensively for them. Barry Ferguson picking that up. Now Kantsέλskis. Little flicker of legs, typical from Kantsέλskis there. Newman, who has taken up a much more threatening position. Now Wallace trying to get underneath that there. And I think slightly put off there, and as that ball was coming across, didn't quite get hold of it the way he would have liked. It came off his shoulder, in fact. And we're having another substitution, in fact, two substitutions. Number 15, Paul Kamingas, is coming on for Risa Novels. And as we had expected, George Alberts is about to come on for Rangers. There he is. And how valuable a man he will be with his experience at this stage, his power. And of course the gauntlet has been thrown down to Alberts. Manager dropped him for this game. There's Wallace, neat little touch on, well away by Oliveres. Nagbe. Now here's the danger man, Konstantinidis. That's the new man has come on, Paul Kamingas. That's the other substitute, Akilia Zafiru. Nagbe wants to go forward. They're building this up very nicely indeed. Amoroso just got the touch in, and then Van Bronckhorst. Nicely picked up by Van Bronckhorst. Here's Kantsέλskis. Beautiful play, and just a little too intemperate there in that return by Amato. Well, they've told Alberts just to pause for a second, that I think going through this clerical stuff that you need for this. And it's young Barry Ferguson who's coming off. Apart from being a valuable player, this young man is going through a learning experience. And I'm quite sure he's matured just that little bit as he goes off and Alberts comes on. Newman, but very much left-sided now as Newman picks this up. That's an neat little ball across. Just too much for Amato. Right off balance now, Alberts. Just a little bit too obvious when that in. And of course there'll be a new surge in midfield for Rangers with that fresh pair of legs being in. That wasn't a good ball by Kantsέλskis. Good play by Alberts. Looks to be up for it. Wallace. There he tries to put it. Oh, what a goal! A brilliant goal by Wallace. With almost position, sliding it away from the goalkeeper. That's his second goal of the season for Rangers, and you could not have been more precise. Beautifully angled, he saw that little aperture and he found it. Rangers 2 up, and the Ibrox crowd rise to this goal. Look at the way they built it up. This is what was lacking in the first half. Those touches of invention and the accuracy of finishing, and suddenly they've rediscovered it. Amorúzo. Alberts. They've opened up now. Mato going forward. This is a Mato with a shot at goal. And you felt that that was going to go up all the way. He was slightly off balance of entry. There we are. The ball was just a little bit too much to his right-hand side. And the inevitable happened. Much better Rangers side now. They've, and as soon as you say that, right on cue. Now Wallace trying to get up. There's Newman making amends with that, and just a little bit too clever by half Amorúzo there, I think. Now Alberts, Wallace. There's Van Bronckhorst, and in the past 15 minutes we've seen Rangers playing an infinitely better standard of football, much more penetrating. Alberts, Newman, Amorúzo wanting to creep forward. Kančelskis certainly does. Here's Amato. Big, powerful man, isn't he? Driving his way forward. When he really gets to fitness, he's got to be some asset for this Rangers side. Going to be a free kick. Just about 19 minutes remaining. And the major priority for Rangers now, let me repeat again, is not to lose a goal. However, it is a tantalizing situation because the difference between a 2 and a 3 goal lead in Europe is enormous. There's Ferguson. Porínì. Alberts. Wanted it back again, and he gets it. There's Kančelskis to the run inside. Brilliantly defended by Constantinides. With Porínì going on the outside. Did that very well. Amato! Tried a little hip swerve there. Didn't quite come off. Oh dear, oh dear. I think they got that one wrong, and the referee lets that go. Ferguson was a little bit late there, to say the least. Amorúzo. Well, from the word go, after having been reduced to 10 men, it was a case of playing a game that would frustrate Rangers, and they looked as if they might get away with it. 2 touches of brilliance by Wallace. Here's Arthur Newman. There's the man I was talking about, Rod Wallace. Kančelskis didn't quite control that. Inside to Zafarou. And offside against Konstantinidis. As Rangers want the other goal, I don't think there's any doubt about that. And Kantsέλskis getting away from his marker. Konstantinidis going with him. Up it goes to Mato. Well, he did very well to get away from his marker, but again, just that little bit too far out. Excellent play by Kantsέλskis again. And that straightforward element to Kantsέλskis' play. His pace and his crossing is the most effective element. Free kick. Whoa. Two of them going for that. I thought only the Scotland international team tried dodges like that. Oh, that was a hard one in Kantsέλskis. Here's Albert, he's going to let fly! Wonderful save, and Wallace cannot come up on top of it. One hammer blow by this man, and that would finish the Greeks once and for all, as it almost did there. Amato. Not quite clean enough there to get it through. Ferguson, good, fair shoulder charge. Amoroso wants to come forward this time. They could be caught out though. It's 2 against 2. Picked up by the danger man, of course. Franciscus. And he ran out of numbers. Rangers got the defenders back very quickly. Now here, Alberts. Vandovic got that away well. Dominguez wanted to make the run on the left-hand side. Simply away by Mur. 14 minutes left. Wallace just comes into the play very effectively, not just in the middle of things all the time. He stays on the fringes, then busts into the game. Now Rangers must keep the shape. Ferguson nicely brought down by Van Bronckhorst. 2 into 1 won't go. Back by Nagby. And Wallace is down on the, almost in the penalty area there, and away by Poriini. I think it's Van Bronckhorst who's down and swept out of play. It's Van Bronckhorst who's way down near the penalty area. Getting a sporting gesture there, getting the cramp treatment. That's an early season ailment, of course. And the referee wants him taken away. And it looks like Gattuso's going to come on here, and you can't say he does get involved. I think he's played himself out. As I said, that's an indication of a player who hasn't quite reached the fitness that we really need at the top, but he's getting a great reception as he comes off the field. A young Dutchman who certainly has an international future with his own country. On comes another 21 international, Gattuso. Very popular player at Ibrox, of course. And if he can curb that rather volatile temperament of his, it's another added advantage for Rangers. And the Greeks very sportingly popped that out of play. Here's Porínι, all the time in the world. Nobody coming forward to challenge the Rangers defence any longer. There's Ferguson to Kantsέλskis, good touch to Porínι, to Gattuso. Now Kantsέλskis. There's Porínì. Ooh, Kantsέλskis almost retaliated there. Now here's Ferguson. Gattuso, a little bit of backspin in the ball helped him out there. And it is the goalkeeper. Looked as if he was going to get a good touch there. A moment of indecision. Rangers get the corner. It's a quick one. Rather wasted all the same. They're trying to build up the play from the back quite intelligently though. Nagbe. Konstantinidis. Free kick. Another clumsy tackle there by the Rangers captain. Well, then a tantalizing 10 minutes left. Rangers leading by 2-0. And once again, Francesco's with it. What a running going into the box there, and it's touched across. That was a beautiful run forward there by the substitute, Kyriakos Zaferou. Very intelligent play there, and look at the accuracy of this free kick. Saw him running right onto it. Kind of homing instinct there. Job there by Olivares. As I said, they play neatly enough. Here's Gattuso. Just got a touch to that. Porínì. Kantsέλskis. Porínì with a very hurried pass there that was quite unnecessary. Throw to Rangers. Wow, the linesman initially gave that to Rangers, then very quickly changed. Here's Porínì though. Wallace. Gattuso snatching at it. Ferguson, can he put it through? Just short with a pass. Albert's running on the left-hand side. Kantsέλskis. It's Ian Ferguson is down injured. Yes, he took that knock as he tried to push the ball through to George Alberts on the left-hand side, and I think Ferguson, well, he's watching the highlights of this. You'll remember the pain of this very moment, but I have to say, but Sal's in it, he's started off this season with Rangers better than I've seen in many a year for him. Yes, he's in real agony there. Well, the manager at this stage of the season has to face up to the fact that he will get injuries out of virtually nothing. When you get that element of fitness plus games behind you, let's say a month into the season, then you perhaps are able to sustain challenges like that much better. He's the kind of player that would play with a wooden leg for the club. But they're having him come off to the side. And I think they're telling George Alberts to position himself right in the middle of the field. Amoroso. Amato, good control. Claiming to the referee, he might have been impeded there. Touch forward by Zaferu. There's Porίνι after this. Should be the header back. Look at the pace of Gattuso. Determination about that and just beyond Amato. He had Wallace away in the left-hand side, but I think the push brought Wallace further to the left. Taking up that position that Van Bronckhorst very effectively filled in the second half in particular. Here's Amato. Well, nobody coming up for that. It was well meant, intelligently played. I think he expected Wallace to just come into that vacant space. What the little man has done powerfully enough for his side. 5 minutes left. And what looks like, at this stage, a reasonably comfortable result. Could be infinitely better with another one. Konstantinidis, free kick again. Cluster of Rangers players round there. Here's the sub again, Zaferu, very intelligent player. Woof. Up very quickly now Wallace going forward. Right across, goal again, and Kantsέλskis was running into the far post. I think Wallace might have parted with that ball just a little bit too soon. This is the man they've had to put their hands on right from the start. Good tackle by Mur. Here's Kapanopoulos. Olivares. Then Zaferu. Newman should have the pace for this. Looked like a push in Wallace, but there is Alberts. Away he goes, right through the middle. That's not a bad ball to the outside, and Amato beaten by the Peruvian again. Tremendous pace, the Peruvian international, but good play again by the German. Much sharper performance than we saw against Hawks. Getting a hero's welcome away down at that far corner. Swinging well out. Nobody around Ferguson. Offside, just must have been very close. Slight misjudgment there by Amorúzo, but he got away with it. Free kick. Newman, I think, drifted back into a more defensive position later on after the second goal in particular, which isn't at all surprising. Here's Alberts. There's Newman, just taken away from him. Good defending there. Vantovic got right across there. Here's Wallace. There we are. There's a unique square right-footed pass there by the German. Gattuso. Just knocking it about. And an indication that they would buy a 2-0 victory. Anything else they might expect to be a luxury? No free kick. Gattuso's first touch wasn't sharp enough. That's played out, and I think they're getting a free kick for that. Very quickly taken by Nagbe. On to Francescos. Easily mopped up there by Pορίνι. The Greek team are now looking tired. Now, they're not exactly on the ropes, but I think they're there for the taking if the passing can be more accurate than that. There will be some stoppage time, but we are into the last minute. They might even think that with 10 men, 2-0 against them isn't a bad result, given what they can do at home. No free kick this time. Amorúzo goes away. Now 4 against 3. Here's Amato. Here's Kantsέλskis. And it goes! Just to Kantsέλskis again. Wallace. He was looking for the touch, and it all ends very weakly then after that wonderful breakaway. 3 minutes of stoppage time to be played. Pορίνι. Here's Alberts. He's got on that fly again. Brilliantly saved. Oh, wasn't that so typical? He really did look as if he had much leverage here, but what a power there is in that left leg. In a dipped and swerve. Very fine save indeed. It's slow this time, and it fell to the wrong man, Gattuso. Not an OT'd striker from that distance. Here's Kantsέλskis. Alberts. Well beaten by Nagbe. Nagbe coming into the play again, wanting the ball back. That was well picked up there. Amorúzo, Wallace, Newman. Tired looking pass there by the Rangers captain. And of course, lapses of concentration, even at this stage, can cost the tie altogether. That's played out there towards Mur. Gattuso was there. Nice play by Gattuso as Kantsέλskis gets a little bit of room. Now Alberts. Looking for Amato. Seemed to take his eye off the ball there. We didn't do that well. Kantsέλskis moving in. His first touch let him down. Perhaps Rangers should have pressurized that goalkeeper just a little bit more like that. Amato. Oh, I think that's a typical picture of tiredness across there. There's Gattuso. Pορίνι can't get to it. Gattuso does. And there goes the final whistle. It's all over. Rangers at least to give themselves a decent margin to take with them back across to Salonika. It's going to be a very difficult journey under the best of circumstances, but there's a hero tonight, the man with that wonderful little touch on the left, laying on the ball for Andrei Kantsέλskis' first goal, and then that magnificent piece of play by the little man again. When under pressure, like a guided missile, the ball left his toe, found its target, and Rangers felt much more relieved than they had been for large sections of the game, which they dominated. I think the frustration was creeping in, but they had that 2-goal lead. And I'm sure Trevor Stephen, as an ex-Rangers player, will feel that's a decent result under the circumstances of Rangers 2, PAOK 0.